Are electromagnetic fields really affecting your body? Does being near electronic devices affect your physiology? If so, how? Most people seem fine. But will you age better if you become one of those weird people who turns their Wi-Fi off at night or won't hold their phone up to their head to talk? You're listening to the Health Courage Collective podcast, episode 238. Does living in a wireless world affect how you age? Welcome to the Health Courage Collective podcast, the show for women who are too busy to slog through hours of generalized, inapplicable, and often contradictory health information, but too smart to ignore that a few minutes of focused attention now can prevent years of suffering in the future. I'm your host, Christina Hackett, a pharmacist who doesn't want you to live on prescriptions, a certified coach specifically trained to maximize your potential, and a compulsive learner obsessed with preventative, cutting-edge, holistic, and integrative medicine. I'm on a mission to increase your physical and mental resilience so you can fearlessly look forward to your next 40-plus limitless years. Your time is now. Let's go. Hello, my friend, and welcome to another episode. I'm so happy that you're listening today. You are wonderful. I hope you've had a lovely week. How is your happiness and its coupled variable discipline? Isn't it interesting that you can alter your happiness in a certain area of life by changing your level of discipline in that area? That's it. It's a little cheat code you can use to simplify your choices. Today, we're going to talk about EMFs, which stands for electromagnetic fields. We have a ton to get through, and now that I'm looking through my notes, I'm thinking we might have to break this up into 2 episodes, so I might do that on the fly as we go today. A ton of people think that the idea of electropollution is ridiculous and that those people who oppose 5G are morons. That we need more and stronger Wi-Fi signals, not less. But do the people who are opposed to more wireless signals have any valid points? Does it matter to your personal long-term health? I'm sure you've heard that Arthur Schopenhauer quote many times before that says, all truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. Second, it's violently opposed. Third, it's accepted as being self-evident. I think it's true in the case of electropollution. You can decide what you think, and more importantly, what, if anything, you want to do about it. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. We had a TV in the living room, obviously a fridge and a dishwasher and a toaster in the kitchen. When I was a little older, I had a blow dryer and a curling iron, and we eventually got a computer in the basement. That was about it. Not a ton of electrically powered items. I can't think of anything I had that needed to be charged, and definitely nothing wireless. People I knew had cordless phones. That was pretty cool, but we didn't. Compare that to my kids, and I don't even think I could name all of the electric devices in our house. So many things need to get charged regularly. My phone, my Oura Ring, my smartwatch, my Lumen metabolism monitor, my car, my computer, my camera batteries. My kids have drones and hearing aids and who knows what else that all need to get charged. And tons of things communicate wirelessly around the house and they need Wi-Fi. Our phones and computers, my scale, the thermostat, that thingy that collects data from the microinverters connected to our solar panels, our smart light bulbs, Google Home speaker, smart TV. Our home is relatively unintelligent, but there are definitely houses whose fridges, dryers, coffee makers, window coverings, robot vacuums, and more all connect to Wi-Fi regularly. It's pretty cool, honestly. What do you think is the coolest electric device around you? You probably listen to this on your phone, like with wireless earbuds, would be my guess. Those are pretty cool. I got my dad one of those electric photo frames that we can add pictures to from our phone anytime, and that's been pretty fun. Obviously, phones and computers can do some crazy cool things these days. They seem especially cool after taking that trip down memory lane from my childhood when I thought it was cool when I got a calculator that didn't need its batteries changed. Wow. Or dot matrix printers with the tracks of holes on the sides of paper. Remember those? So of all the cool electrical gizmos that we have that make our life better, there's one wireless smart electrical device that makes your life possible at all. The scientist Harold Saxton Burr first used a voltmeter to test the electromagnetic field of the human body in 1936. He said electricity is the way nature behaves. There's an organic electrical computer in your skull that runs everything you experience via electrical signals. Feeling hunger, pain, smelling a flower, moving your calf muscle, instructions that tell your finger to heal your paper cut, and certainly the beating of your heart are all electrical instructions. When your heart pumps electrically charged blood through your circulatory system, the process creates an electromagnetic field that surrounds your body and can be scientifically measured. Most of the information in this episode, and the next one if I decide to break it up into two parts because we're getting tired, comes from the book Zapped by Anne Louise Gittleman. The chemical balance in our bodies is reliant on our electrical balance, and if our electrical balance is off, our health and chemical balance gets off. Whether you believe in chi or energy balance, if our electricity and the magnetism that comes with it get off, things in our bodies start to function suboptimally. Anne Gittleman says that our bodies are essentially a composite of billions or trillions of frequencies. These frequencies are expressed in the form of cells, organs, and tissues, which are constantly vibrating and communicating with each other and the external environment. Communication between cells of the body is facilitated by biophotons, biological light particles which represent the quantum of electromagnetic radiation. The biophoton emissions of an organism reflects the health of that organism. The biophotons of healthy animals and plants are strong and highly organized. People who are sick have weak and chaotic biophoton radiation. The biophotons even produce a visual image that can be captured through Kirlian photography. If you've never looked up Kirlian photography before, you should. It's pretty wild to be able to see the electrical discharge or aura of living things. So, we're clearly electric beings. Some people say we're energy beings more than we are physical beings, which is kind of weird to think about, but I can see it. Einstein said that matter and energy are interchangeable. The average frequency of the human body during the daytime is 62 to 68 hertz. According to Anne Gittleman, if our frequency goes down to 58, we usually develop cold and flu symptoms. 55 hertz, candida. 52 hertz, Epstein-Barr, and 42 hertz, cancer. You cannot move a muscle or produce a thought without an electrical impulse. Whenever an electric charge is in motion, a magnetic field is produced. Whether that's your fridge, your Furby, or your next thought. Moving electricity creates magnetic fields, so that's why there's a single word called electromagnetic, or a single abbreviation EMF, electromagnetic fields. Hey, have you ever thought about buying an Oura ring? If you have, then you know that you can track your activity, recovery, and sleep with a light and unobtrusive ring that looks like a normal ring. I've had mine for almost 3 years and I absolutely love it. I check my numbers every single day and it helps me make better decisions. You can see real metrics that show the detrimental effects of eating too late or working out too hard too often, and the beneficial effects of balanced activity and turning off screens before bed. If you're a curious person who wants to see how much deep sleep you got, which is critical for muscle building, the Oura Ring can tell you whether you get the 75 to 90 plus minutes that you need for that. If you want to see if you got enough REM for emotional resilience, memory consolidation, and neurotransmitter production, your Oura Ring can tell you whether you got the 2+ hours that you need for that. I pay special attention to my HRV, which shows me how stressed my body is, and I always check my steps every day to make sure I've gotten enough non-exercise movement throughout the day. You can quickly check your heart rate, track your cycle. It connects the dots and knows why your basal body temperature increases for a day or two and uses that to predict your next period start date. You can see your sleep efficiency, which is a high leverage thing you can optimize for, and tag for things you might want to track like caffeine, fasting, sauna, melatonin, headaches, whatever. And it gives you monthly and quarterly reports. If getting more health data from an easy wearable has been on your mind, now might be the time to act. I have a link in the show notes that will get you $50 off. They make it super easy to find your perfect size and get started right away. Okay, back to the episode. With all of our electronic devices and appliances, we're constantly surrounded by weak magnetic fields. The question is whether that's a bad thing. Most people think it's a non-issue, like how I feel about celebrity gossip. Who cares? But there isn't a ton of good data, or the data that there is being suppressed, depending on how pessimistic you are. When something is invisible and smell-less, tasteless, soundless, and the effects it causes are varied and a little bit nondescript, it's pretty easy to ignore. But ignoring something that could be potentially making you less resilient to stress is not a good plan. Some electromagnetic frequencies support healing. I've never used a PEMF mat before, PEMF or PEMF, some people call it. But I'd like to. Too bad they're so expensive. I have this super painful neck shoulder issue as I'm writing this. Not exactly sure what it's all about, but I really wish I had a PEMF mat right now. I was just Googling acupuncturists too. I gotta do something. Anyway, delivering certain frequencies of electricity can help the body to heal. The Earth pulses at 10 hertz naturally, which we're evolved to do very well with. 40 hertz supposedly lowers inflammation, 50 hertz delivers pain relief, which is what I need right now. Cartilage needs 157 hertz. It gets confusing because hertz is a measure of frequency, like how many cycles per second the wave oscillates, but the strength of an electromagnetic field is measured in milligauss. 2G to 4G cell phones emit radio frequencies of 0.7 to 2.7 gigahertz, and 5G cell phones use up to 80 gigahertz. A gigahertz is 1 billion hertz. And remember, the Earth is naturally vibrating at 10 hertz. So your cell phone radiation is not the frequency that makes your cells happy. Our body naturally picks up on the presence of electromagnetic fields, and even low-level EMF exposure, measured in the milligauss, can rupture cell membranes, which spills calcium ions out into the extracellular space and garbles cellular messages, disrupts normal cell division, and creates oxidative stress. Glutathione is your master antioxidant. You want as much of it around as possible. It gets depleted when there's a bunch of oxidative chaos happening in your body, which is good because that's its job. But if you can't replenish it quick enough, the damage can't be repaired or averted, as the case may be, and things start going haywire. EMFs of 900 megahertz decrease the production of thyroid hormones. I didn't actually look up the footnote in the Zapped book and pull the scientific study, but Ann Gittleman says that a study has shown that cancer cells are more resistant to destruction by the immune system, and they grow 24 times faster in the presence of EMFs. EMFs have been linked to autism, ADHD, and learning disabilities, as have a ton of other things. I don't think it's the number one factor by any means, but the idea is that the leaking calcium ions from the ruptured cells produce random scattered impulses leading to extra brain firing called hyperactivity. There are also specific impairments like the mirror neuron system, which is affected in autism, and the ability to concentrate and remember. It's crazy. And there are some sad studies giving monkeys short-term amnesia and making cows crazy. Well, the cows weren't targeted for a study. They were just exposed to EMFs from power lines, and they suddenly became twitchy and defiant, and they produced significantly less milk. It was weird. You can get way more into it than this, and if you already are and have some wisdom to share, please contact me and let me know. I'd be super interested to learn from you. But I'm going to boil it all down to my simplistic way of thinking about it. EMFs are an additional low-level stressor to your body. We can handle certain amounts of stress. We want to be good at handling a certain amount of stress, but we're designed to have short periods of stress interspersed with long periods of recovery. EMFs introduce a low-level stress that almost never goes away, unless you frequently remove yourself from the modern world. If you do, good for you. If we use up our coffers of stress management magic dealing with our EMF exposure, we're more vulnerable to all the other crap that the modern world throws our way. Medications, plastics, cosmetics, your mother-in-law, traffic, desk jobs, a bad night of sleep, whatever. I just see it as an addition to your stress load, which decreases the amount of other stress that you'll be able to manage before the camel's back breaks, so to speak. So I figure if I can lower that constant background physiologic stress and make myself harder to weaken, I'd prefer to do that. But I haven't had the horrible experiences that some people have, so I'm not as nutso about it as some people are or need to be. There are some interesting stories in the book Zapped about people with some pretty extreme symptoms from EMF exposure. Canary in the coal mine type of people. One big culprit is dirty electricity. I didn't even know anything about it, but apparently it can be a big problem. Everyone's electrical stuff that is always plugged in can cause irregular high voltage spikes in the power coming into your house, which can cause fatigue, depression, headaches, pain, ringing ears, high blood glucose, dizziness, confusion, memory problems, and trouble sleeping. Dirty electricity is much more common if you're the last house before the power substation. You can get devices to test for and filter out dirty electricity. If you're just an average Jane like me who wants to enjoy her life and not alienate her family while still making sure you're extra hard to kill, what's the best plan? It's up to you to decide what you want to do, what will make your life better both now and in the future, but here are a few ideas to consider. It's probably worth your time to sit down, metaphorically speaking, you could be walking or doing dishes or whatever, and think about what kind of electropollution you're exposed to on a regular basis. You want to kind of electro-feng shui your environment, meaning consider where you physically put your body most often and try to engineer the lowest levels of EMF there. Like your bed is a great place to start. Then where you work, where you relax. Let's say you start with your bed, your desk chair, and your couch. What electric items are near there? Wiring in the walls, electrical outlets, power strips, ceiling fans, appliances. Is your desk chair right next to a copy machine? Is your couch directly on the opposite wall of your fridge? It really is worth thinking about. The more distance you can put between your body and the electric device or appliance, the better. Don't put your laptop directly on your lap if you can avoid it. Can you take your cell phone out of your pocket more often than you do? Can you put more distance between you and the surge protector? There are all kinds of charts in the book that show common electrical devices and appliances and how many milligauss they deliver at different distances. The highest one is electric can openers, surprisingly enough. It's 1,500 milligauss at 6 inches, but only 4 at 4 feet. So distance is hugely important. If you're interested, after can openers comes hair dryers, then electric shavers and power saws. Oh, and vacuum cleaners. Then mixers, microwaves, and drills. The farther away you can get from them, the lower your exposure. And of course, the amount of time that they're on. So drying your hair for less time could be better. And don't spend too much time vacuuming. Or opening cans, apparently. Fans, air purifiers, and electric pencil sharpeners are fairly high. And fluorescent lights. But if you're within 6 inches of a fluorescent light, you've got bigger problems. Actually, those are 4 at 4 feet away, and you want your baseline level to be less than 1.5, so I guess that's still not good. Electric pencil sharpeners are 30 milligauss at 4 feet away. What the heck? If you're a teacher and you have one, put it on the other side of the classroom. It's interesting to think through how you interact with all of these gizmos throughout your day. My gym has a red light therapy booth, which is not as good as Juve lights, I don't think, but I go in there sometimes, and it's probably 8 minutes of really high milligauss exposure. Is the benefit worth the risk? Probably. Same with air purifiers. Is the bad stuff in the air worse than the EMF exposure to the machine? Maybe, especially if you stay more than 4 feet away from it most of the time. What are your microwaving habits? Are you a microwave lurker? You might want to change that. They have a 300 to 20 milligauss rating depending on how close to them you are when they're running. But even worse, some of the high frequency energy does leak out through the window in the door. As the microwave gets older, if the seals wear out, they can leak even more. Also, consider their placement. Mine is at eye level for optimal brain irradiation. It's not too hard next time you're microwaving something to back away and reduce your exposure. I mean, why not? It's not hurting anything. If all you do is become more aware of what is around your body and put your electric pencil sharpener on the other side of the room and stop intently watching your cup of noodles cook, you'd be better off. And you'd be way better off if you also stop eating cup of noodles. If you're interested in diving deeper, it would be awesome to measure your environment in the places you spend the most time. You want your baseline level to be less than 1.5. You can get a decent Gauss meter for about $170. Then you can go crazy testing every inch of your living space. I've heard that EMF is pretty high in a car and higher in an electric car than a gas-powered one, so my new little car might be stressing my physiology even while looking so cute inside. I'm still figuring out all the detailed logistics of my Health Courage Collective program. I would love to get you in there and get you aging like a professional, but I would love to be able to have some fun stuff like this be a part of it. Let me know if that interests you or would be helpful to you. It wouldn't be the main benefit, just a little side stuff for fun. I was thinking like I could buy a Gauss meter and some other members who'd like to use it could borrow it. Then they could have it for a while and send it on to the next person. I think that would be super fun. And to see what tweaks other people were able to make to easily lower their own exposure or what they were surprised to find out. We can all help each other in huge ways. If you want to work with a group of like-minded, forward-thinking women, you need to make sure to get into the Health Courage Collective, where we will get you 100% consistent implementing a plan to age like a professional and have fun doing it. Okay, we have a lot more to talk about EMF exposure and things that you can do. It's fun and exciting, but I can see the value of keeping things short. So I think let's call it quits for today, and next week we'll come back and finish up ideas, strategies, and options for lowering your EMF risk. Just remember that your body is electric, and constantly exposing it to electromagnetic fields can be a constant stress that's decreasing your ability to be resilient. So next week, we'll come back and finish up. Until then, put a little more distance between you and your electronic devices and don't be normal. Thank you so much for tuning into the Health Courage Collective podcast. I am truly honored that you have paid me the enormous compliment of your time and attention. I would be so grateful if you would share this podcast with someone you know and subscribe so you never miss an episode. This podcast is for entertainment and information purposes only. Statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Christina Hackett and producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse events by use of information contained herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.